Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Dr. Fauci, give us vaccines. Help all the people who have been quarantined. We'll wear our masks and we'll have to stay distant. We'll wash our hands and we'll be more resistant. Fauci, promise us please. We'll have a cure that can fight off this disease. Restrictions will lift with some ease. Dr. Fauci, don't forget me.
That guy was awful, and that's being kind. Dr. Fauci, you're like my God. I think you're awesome. I mean, I could go on and say horrible things, but I got my second yesterday, my Moderna. I survived. Were you sick? No. So psychosomatic, isn't it? Guy's like, you're probably going to get sick tonight. I'm like, no, I'm not. He said, no, but most people do. I said, well, first of all, I'm not most people. And secondly, no, I'm not. I didn't. Went home, had dinner, sat in the jacuzzi, hung out, a lot of fun, went to bed. There you go. Problem solved. I survived. I survived. No tail yet. No microchip as far as I know. I've been scanned. But today, new mask guidelines. Things like common sense. Hey, if you're outdoors by yourself and there's nobody with 5,000 million yards of you, and you don't want to wear a mask, feel free not to. It's the dumbest stuff. That's it. All these new guidelines. And first of all, let's just know this. They're going to throw out new guidelines today, and then somewhere in there, somebody's going to go, well, you really don't need to wear a mask if you're in a group of 5. Oh, and then 20 minutes later, oh, you can't say that. You're going off script. You can't go off script. You have to wear a mask. 4, 10, 12, 100. Start wearing a mask on your eyes. Why wear glasses? Get a mask for the glasses. Is there any risk to being outdoors wearing a mask?
I think we're going to see a pulling back of the mandates. I think certainly when you're outside, out and about, unless you're in large, crowded groups, there's really very, very little risk of being outdoors.
Do I need you to tell me that? I thought we knew that, like, before. Of course there's not. Why would there be a risk being outdoors? Well, because you could spread. Oh, stop with it. My God, you're outside. It's the insanity of this stuff. And you wonder why people are like, well, should totally listen. Dr. Fauci, you're the best. I think you're super and you're better than the rest. People are insane. I'm telling you. I sit here and we could just, let's be honest, right? We're amongst friends. Enjoy this. You take this serious because it's a serious thing, especially if you've got any compromised immune problems or you've got, some comorbidities. You absolutely take this thing serious. If you get this thing, the chances of you dying from it are still very, very, very small. But some of the insanity of which has surrounded this over the last year and a half, and we've pointed out some of the foolishness and the ridiculousness of it all, is just insane. And the fact that we have to have the CDC and, all the powers that be come out and tell us, hey, if you're outside, you're riding a horse, and you're in the middle of the desert, you don't have to wear a mask. Yesterday, I'm driving home. I saw 3 or 4 people wearing a mask inside their car with nobody around. One person's wearing a mask in their car, nobody around, and the windows are open. And I thought to myself, what are you doing? What in God's name are you doing? We're still finding out about stuff. How about the research on distancing? MIT's come out with some stuff about distancing. You got all this stuff coming out. We're still learning. And some of the stuff we're going to look back on when we do a postmortem. And remember, the government has suggested so much of this crap. And as we know with government, what doesn't government do? We made a mistake. No, they don't do that. They just let it die.
Doctors Martin Bazant and John Bush studied how coronavirus spreads in an enclosed space, finding that the smallest aerosolized particles that we all exhale eventually circulate throughout the room, and that masks do little to block them. But Bazant and Bush do not recommend that we take off our masks and forget the 6-foot rule. Instead, that we limit the time that we spend in indoor spaces with others who might be infected.
Yeah. And the 6-foot rule, according to the research, is just... So wait, hold on a second. This is the theater we're talking about. So it does little to stop this thing. Yeah. Very little. So what you need to do is reduce your exposure. Okay. So it does little to stop it. But instead, you want me to wear a mask indoors, giving people a false sense of where I'm wearing a mask so I can be in here around a bunch of people, when the reality is, to slow the spread, you need to be in a situation where you either know the people and they've been vaccinated, they've had it, whatever it is, you accept what potentially may happen, but being there for X amount of times, no matter what you're doing, is the bigger risk, because the mask really doesn't do anything. Oh, but by the way, wear the mask. It's the dumbest thing in the world. Oh, my God. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. The other big thing happening, and I'm going to talk about this. I doubt many people will today because it's kind of wonky, but we can get a little wonky. Apple and Facebook are fighting right now, and the fight is going to get kind of ugly. And the reason is Apple's decided to say, hey, you, it's your data, it's your life, you keep it.
Apple taking a stand on privacy, releasing a new feature allowing customers to limit how much of their data is used and shared.
It's a feature that gives you a choice.
The feature, dubbed App Tracking Transparency, will let you choose if you want your online activity tracked and sold to third parties, such as Facebook and other apps.
So, just to put it simple and easy, next year, cookies are going away. That's your tracking. Get rid of your cookies. They clean out your cookies. You're tracking. So people track you. Your data. What have we always talked about? Facebook, you were never the end user. You were always the bait. The end user was the people buying your data. Apple is essentially saying, guess what? It's your data. It's your life. You control it. Facebook's biggest revenue from all of the other things. I mean, they own WhatsApp. They own Instagram. They own all this stuff. But at the end of the day, it is advertising. And this is going to hurt their advertising. This is going to really, really, really hurt them. And why is that great for you, though? Because finally, you don't get to be the loss leader. Finally, you don't get to be the person who goes, man, I searched something one time about something for a friend of mine for his birthday or her birthday or my wife's, anniversary or my husband's anniversary. I searched, and now I get freaking pop-up ads 24/7 on these damn things. That stuff is slowly but surely going to be tougher for people to do, which is great because all of us are annoyed by that crap. All of us are. And we all keep saying, I wish I could take back my privacy. I wish I could take back my Well, now you're going to have the chance to do it. And there's apps out there you can try to do it, but it really is about Apple and eventually the Androids and Google and Firefox and that's Mozilla for all of those out there. All of them getting rid of these things. And you'll still be able to opt into stuff. But the difference is the power will be more in your hands, which on a day-to-day basis, we scream about all the time. What do we want? We want more privacy. Now, we've been willing to give up privacy over the last, 15 years because it was all new. We thought we're just, hanging out with our friends. We didn't realize until much later that our personal lives were not only out there, but our personal lives in such a way where we become target to advertisers. And the data we use was more important than anything else.
Apps commonly track data, such as your age, location, spending habits, and browsing history. That data can be used for things like tagging photos or mapping runs, but it's also sold to advertisers, which is why targeted ads have become so popular and lucrative. Experts say this new feature may be a double-edged sword. It places power in the customer's hands in terms of privacy, but it also may hurt Facebook and the small businesses that benefit from ads on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, I get that. It may hurt because when you're on Facebook, as you know, you can do so much more with your dollar now, but you'll still be able to do that. People can still search for what it is that you are selling that they're interested in. You can opt in and out. Not everybody's going to take advantage of this. But to me, this is a great win and a great move because we all hate that. And it's going to be great. And you can go out and, IPs and stuff like that. You go out like I've done in the past, and I think a lot of you guys have done, and you figured out, well, I can go do this and I can hide basically a lot of stuff. There's still opportunities around those things in some cases, not all cases. But now this is more power to you because the actual companies themselves are saying, which puts the power back in your hands, but also gives these companies power to do certain things. And the fight with Facebook, because I think a lot of this has to do with it's a fight. And Facebook hasn't done very well in guarding people's data. And I think they realize, we need to make a move. We need to do something. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. A lot of stuff to get to today. A ton of stuff. Zombies. What? Oh, yeah. Zombies. One televangelist. Talk a little bit about zombies. Ooh. Yeah, you're going to want to hear this one. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. K9 Vitasmart. Give it to my dog every single day. Just sprinkle it on his food. It's got probiotics. It's got omega-3, 6, 9. It's got vitamins, minerals, all these amazing things. And it's just a supplement right on there. Think of it like putting some like Lowry sauce or some seasoned salt on top of the food that they eat. It brings that food to life, brings out all those nutrients, and it really does an amazing thing. My dog Doodle, probably about 10, 11 years old, maybe a little bit older, bad hips. His coat wasn't very good. He was much older than we were told when we adopted him, and he was struggling. We thought we were going to put him to sleep. A year and a half into giving him K9 Vitasmart from Rough Greens, he's changed dog. He's happy, he's healthy, he's bouncy. He does things that he never did before, and I love it. If you love your animals like I love my animals, try it. Rough Greens says try it before you buy it. You pay for shipping, they'll send you a bag for free. Go to roughgreens.com/Chad, ruffgreens.com/Chad, or call 833-MY-DOG-77, 833-MY-DOG-77. You pay for the shipping, they send you a bag. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
Hashtag me too. Hashtag immigration reforms. Hashtag help. I'm trapped in a hashtag factory and I can't get out. The Chad Benson Show.
I was reading some article yesterday, this comic, female comic. She's like, comics shouldn't be allowed, men comics shouldn't be allowed to make jokes about Me Too. I'm like, okay. So, this is insane. What do you mean what do you mean people can't make fun of you too, Me Too? Or you two. I make fun of you two. Bono's okay with that. I mean, he's pretty set, right? It's not like he's like, oh, I can't sleep tonight. That Chad made fun of me or something. But Me Too, like the whole, that's what comics do, right? Last night I watched, if you guys want to see two of the best, worst, or three of the best, worst comics in the world, obviously Tosh is great. Jesselneck is awesome. Jimmy Carr's a British comic. If you've never seen him, he's the guy that you feel guilty about laughing at the things that he said, and yet you enjoy every second of it. He is, let's just say, as bad as Tosh is pretty bad. Jesselneck is great. You put them together, and if they had a child and they got all of the best, worst of those guys, it'd be Jimmy Carr. If you've never seen him, he's brilliant. Make you feel uncomfortable. Me Too, you too, R2D2, they're going to make fun of it. The thought process of, Me Too, you can't make fun of Me Too. It's not what comedy's about. Comedy's about making fun of all of the things that make you completely uncomfortable, which does what? Takes some of the sting out of it. It's also being able to check people in power and keep, hopefully, a hold and keep down things that are ridiculous, which is hard to do in a day and age where everything seems to be ridiculous. Speaking of ridiculous, census is out, and oh, my Lord, panic.
These numbers continue to show that shift in political power in this country to the South and West. Historically Democratic states are now losing congressional seats to Republican ones. So states that are growing in population and gaining seats include Montana, Florida, and Texas, which is gaining 2 seats.
Yeah, why is that? Our founding fathers were brilliant enough to set up our republic. It's what we are. You're a democracy. We're a democratic republic. Yes, we vote. We have democracy as and the principles of that, but we're a republic. We govern ourselves, and we have the federal side of it. They wanted us to have what? Some competition. And that's what you're getting now. People are sick and tired of living in states where they feel like their liberties are being eroded, that the screw the cancel culture, just the politically correct wokeness is absolutely hurting the overtaxation, and they feel they want to go somewhere else, and they do. And that's what you're seeing. People are leaving places for places that line up more and more now with their belief system, their political ideology, and that's going to happen more and more in the future. And we're going to have 2 different Americas. We're going to have the coastal America, which will be liberal elites and a lot of, people who are just stuck there, who wouldn't mind leaving. And the haves and the have-nots there will grow. And then you're going to have a lot of people in Texas and throughout the central part of America where they're going and their values fit better. Low taxation, more liberty, more freedom, less government. It's kind of what our founding fathers really wanted. And that's what you're going to get. And yeah, California is losing a seat because people are over. And this entire coronavirus thing has sped up a process that was coming. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
For the 6th day in a row, protesters taking to the streets of downtown Elizabeth City, North Carolina, demanding answers and accountability.
Describe it. What did you see in those 20 seconds?
Execution. We see his hands on the steering wheel while they were shooting, actually.
Brown's family saying he was shot in the back of the head, and they're calling for transparency.
They selectively edited a video, cut it down to 20 seconds, showed us what they wanted to show us, and blurred out the faces of the officers.
Yep, another shooting. Andrew Brown, North Carolina, Elizabeth, North Carolina. By the way, if you're going to edit a video selectively, which they did, they released 20 seconds of it. But it was the 20 seconds of him getting shot in the back of the head. I don't know what else. At least that's the way it looks. I mean, the car seemed to be pretty riddled with bullets, and they were serving a felony warrant for drugs. And it's another day, another shooting that is put out there. And it's really interesting to watch the media play this, because every time there's an incident, every time, and I'm not saying we don't talk about these things, but they're not interested in people talking about it. They're interested in the views, the likes, the clicks, the audience, the reaction of the audience, being as provocative as possible, because that's it. I mean, it's like they're going from shooting to shooting as much as they can. It's like, what okay, let's try this one, right? Because this isn't working over here. This one, the young kid, that didn't work. Toledo, because he wasn't a choir boy. It's 2:30 in the morning. It's hard to spin that. It's dark. Cops responding to shots. He's got a gun. That's a tough one to spin, even though he's 13. The Dante Wright thing was something, but the legs on that, they arrested her, but the reality is, so it's on to something else. Not that we don't cover these things. We absolutely do. We talk about them. But it just feels like we're going from place to place to place to place, doing everything we can to because there is no Trump. The coronavirus, it's not giving them what it gave them originally, along with Trump. It's crazy. It is. And this 20 seconds it's a tough thing to watch.
Outrage growing in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, over the deadly deputy-involved shooting of Andrew Brown. The city under a state of emergency as the sheriff's department prepares to publicly release video of the shooting. Brown's family and their legal team watched video of the deadly encounter yesterday, 5 days after it happened. But they say they were only shown 20 seconds of video from one body camera, even though several deputies were involved.
Yeah, there are apparently 8 deputies there. You get 20 seconds of the body cameras. That's all you don't get anything other than that. They said they're going to release more footage. None, it is tough. And the video, again, very tough. They're there to serve a warrant and to arrest him for drugs. So they come up on him and...
According to the family, in the video, they did see deputies already shooting when the video begins, and they say they lost count of how many shots were fired. The family also claims Brown had his hands on the steering wheel as deputies were shooting, and that Brown was shot in the back of the head.
Was he shot in the back?
Yes. In the back of the head.
Brown was killed last Wednesday when deputies tried to execute warrants related to felony drug charges. Authorities say they believed Brown was using his home to store, package, and distribute narcotics.
That's neither here nor there. I mean, you're there to arrest the guy. You're not there to summarily execute somebody. They have said that he tried to drive off, or there's a lot more to this. But it is also interesting. It's like, is it the story? Again, they tried with the Toledo kid. It just didn't seem to work. And over here, you had the young girl last week, Ma'Khia Bryant. That kind of, because she was, her foster parent and foster sisters are like, she was trying to stab somebody. There's a lot of different things that go into it. It's almost like they're bouncing from what can we go to next? What outrage can we find? Because it's about division. Doesn't mean that this isn't important. Doesn't mean that we don't talk about policing in America. We absolutely must. 100%. It's just the way things are presented at this moment in time just shows you a lot of what the media is about. Well, you're part of the media. I am part of the media. But let me tell you something. I'm not here to divide you. I want to give you all of the data that you can find. That's real, right? Supposed to be the wisest person of all time, like Solomon, right? Well, Solomon, armed with bad data, can still make a fool of himself. So you try to give all stories and the best data you possibly can. Doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. And everything is just so many things in this day and age are far more complex, and we want everything to be cut and dry. For lack of a better term, black and white. And it's not always so. I don't know any of the specifics based on 20 seconds. But those 20 seconds, if that's all you had to go with, you're like, okay, so what are the specifics? What happens before? Are you holding the stuff back because you think, well, there's going to be trials and there's going to be all kinds of things. We need to hold these things back. Or are you going to transparency, get everything out there? And now does anybody even trust you because you released 20 seconds? Why didn't you release some of the other stuff?
Few details have been released publicly about the shooting. The sheriff is asking people to hold off on judgment until all the evidence is weighed.
This tragic incident was quick and over in less than 30 seconds, and body cameras are shaky and sometimes hard to decipher. They only tell part of the story.
In North Carolina, police body camera footage can only be released publicly through a court order. On Monday, Pasquotank County Attorney Michael Cox said officials are efforting that order.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. And we'll see, there's been protests, and we'll see how that goes. What do the protests look like? What takes place from here? And how does the media handle it? Because the media, not only the media is looking for something, just like everything else, looking for a story they can sink their teeth into. But with a story that you sink your teeth into, you also need somebody who, let's be honest, you can sell to the world. That helps, right? A victim that you can sell to the world. A victim or a villain that is easy to identify. One of the big things is with the George Floyd thing with Derek Chauvin, he was the perfect victim. He was the poster boy based on the looks and what was going on that day for everything that's wrong with policing in America. So you had that villain. And now he's going to pay the price, goes to jail. How long? We'll find out in about 6-7 weeks. But you need that. And I don't know if we're going to get that with this. And then it's on to the next. And then, did we solve anything? Probably not. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. We were just talking about this is insane. All right, so I want you guys to listen to this.
Doctors Martin Bazant and John Bush studied how coronavirus spreads in an enclosed space, finding that the smallest aerosolized particles that we all exhale eventually circulate throughout the room, and that masks do little to block them.
So masks do little to block them. Today, we're going to get new mask mandates. What? Very exciting. Who's excited for the new mandates on masks? What? Apparently little to block them.
With nearly 96 million Americans fully vaccinated and more people spending time outside because the weather is nicer, we are expecting new guidance from the CDC as far as masking outdoors. And that could look different for people who are fully vaccinated. From Rhode Island to Nashville, officials have already started to lift outdoor mask rules. One study showing less than 10% of COVID infections occurred outside.
So double masking outside. So it doesn't work. Really doesn't do anything to stop it. But let's keep the theatrics up because that matters. That's insane. So the new mask mandate rolls out. And remember, the mandates mean very little. Because your state is going to have the ultimate say on any of this. My state here, comparatively to California. So here I am in Arizona. California, totally different. California is super masky maskersons. And they have been for 14 plus months. We've been kind of. But that's kind of worn thin. And the governor got rid of his mask mandate about 3, and we didn't even have a mandate. He just said, look, you don't have to wear a mask anymore. And now the cities are taking upon themselves to put that in. It's just, but when you hear stuff like that, what it's really about? Being in a confined space, potentially, for somebody for a long time, long enough that you get exposed to the virus enough that you can get sick. That's kind of what it is. Social distancing, 6 feet, 60 feet, 1,000 feet. It's being in an area where you're going to be there long enough with somebody who's infected that you may get it. That's kind of what it is. Pretty much cut and dry. Save you guys the time. Just pointing that out. There you go. But we're going to have a new mask mandate. I just love the fact. It doesn't really work. But if you guys could keep up the theatrics, super. Hey, guys, these parachutes don't work at all. No, there's nothing even in them. But if you guys could wear them. What? Yeah, if you guys could wear them, that'd be super. But I don't want to. If they don't work. Yeah, but I know. But it's optics. Makes people feel good. Okay. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. My Pillow's got my slippers. I love my slippers. Inside, outside. That's what you can do with my slippers, right? So you got this amazing sole. You've got 6 different colors. And what I love about them is you've got the moccasin style and you've got the slip-on, like the faux leather on the inside, and the faux fur on the inside, and you got the suede leather on the. Oh my God, it's awesome! Your feet feel like you're walking on heaven, and the reason for that is they got 3 tiers of. So you get the MyPillow patented fill as part of it, and then you've got this incredible memory foam followed by this gel made from U.S. soybeans. It's awesome. You put them all together, and you've got the most amazing, comfortable slipper, and wear them all day. And I do. When I go play golf and I work out hard, I just slip them on, and it feels awesome. Sometimes I'm wearing them around the office all day. People are like, where'd you get those? I'm like, my slippers. 40% off right now. Go to MyPillow.com. Use the promo code Benson. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. You're going to save 40%. Check out all of the other deep discounts. They're going at everything else. But check out the My Slippers. Get 40% off. You get a 60-day money-back guarantee. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Wanna be, boys? Give me a bowl of chili with plenty of peppers. One Mexican heartburn. Why don't you mugs grow up?
The Chad Benson Show, where independent, a la carte thinkers have a seat at the table and a voice in the dialogue.
I'll have what she's having.
This is Chad Benson.
Wait a second, I know that's da butt.
Glenn Close shaking her rump couldn't save the Oscars. The ratings falling off a cliff. The early numbers showing just 9.85 million people watched, compared to 23.6 million last year. That's a 58% drop, and if the numbers hold, the smallest audience ever by far for the Academy Awards. Now, it's not just the Oscars suffering steep drops since the start of the pandemic. The Grammys and Golden Globes both down over 50%. At its peak, when Titanic won Best Picture in 1998, more than 57 million were watching.
Yeah. A lot of reasons for that. One, it's a Zoom thing. There just wasn't that sense of the big thing where, people start covering it a couple days before and parts of LA are kind of shut down and they got the big. Secondly, nobody cared about any of these movies. Let's be honest. These were acting reels and directing reels for people to get other jobs. They weren't made for a wide audience, which is more and more of what it's becoming. I have a friend in LA, shocker, who's a director, directs TV, but he's done other stuff. He cut his chops on a lot of different things and a lot of horrible things too. We used to laugh about some of the stuff that he has done, but he's like, I don't know who we're making movies for anymore. I don't I get that you want to do great work, but sometimes it's like you're at a point where who are you telling a story to? Like, how small of an audience are you trying to reach? Because you reached it. And the other side, and this is a big one, and I think you got to be honest if you're in Hollywood. Behind the scenes, they're becoming more honest. But in front of the scenes, in front of the cameras, they won't. People are over the wokeness. People are over it. They don't want to be preached to. They don't want any of that stuff. They want to just be able to watch a movie and to hear somebody say, oh, it was great to make. Remember when they say, oh, yeah, it's great working with so-and-so, or, the gossip was about, did they, remember when it's like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie and all, it's like that is all gone now. Partially because of social media. We get all these things 24/7. But the other part of it is people just want to be told how awful they are, how their political beliefs suck, how if they're not woke like people in Hollywood, that, if we don't check every box, that's just, it's not what it once was. It isn't. So you ask yourself, do you, if you're Hollywood, say, well, we got to keep going now. We've made our bed. We got to keep moving forward. We got to keep going. We got to keep moving forward because this is what we're all about. Or do you stand back and go, hey, guys, all things being said, it's still a business. And we got to make some money. And we got to put butts in the seats and get people to subscribe to this stuff. Otherwise, it isn't going to work. Sports is seeing it. It's not just this. It's not just Hollywood. And it's not that people don't look. Great that you have a platform. Got zero problems with it. I think, if you're honest with yourself, you use your platform. Your platform's bigger than somebody who works down the street at a grocery store, even though you guys might have the same political leanings. I understand that. But now you can reach people in a lot of different ways. And after a while, it becomes to the point where you are more of an activist than an entertainer. And I'm not going to pay $15 to go watch you preach to everybody unless it's a movie about a preacher. Machine Gun Preacher. Good movie. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. New research, kids. New research out today. Guess what?
Smallest aerosolized particles that we all exhale eventually circulate throughout the room, and that masks do little to block them.
Masks do little to block them, but if you could, keep wearing your mask. Wear it early, wear it often. Hell, wear 2. You can wear 3. You can wear Phil's, you can wear Anthony's, and you can wear mine. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The Mask! The Mask was a movie that was... First one was okay. Second one was awful. Don't ever... The Mask 2, by the way, there was a movie called The Mask 2. It's the worst. It ranks up there. Like, it's Plan 9 from outer space, but without the humor. But The Mask, the thing we always talk about, right? The mask up, mask up, mask up, mask up. What are you doing masking up? You need to double, triple mask up, especially if you've gotten 5 shots. You can have all the shots, have survived it, and definitely get in a bunker. These bunkers are coronavirus bunkers. Fantastic. We hear about the mask. We hear about the mask. It's about the mask. It's about the mask. What's about the mask? The fight, right? Became political. We were fighting over masks. Think about that. We're fighting over masks. To wear a mask or not to wear a mask? That is the question when it comes to this coronavirus. The mandates are coming out, but new research came out as well. I want you guys to listen to this.
Doctors Martin Bazant and John Bush studied how coronavirus spreads in an enclosed space, finding that the smallest aerosolized particles that we all exhale eventually circulate throughout the room, and that masks do little to block them. But Bazant and Bush do not recommend that we take off our masks and forget the 6-foot rule. Instead, that we limit the time that we spend in indoor spaces with others who might be infected.
That's right. So think about that. These are MIT cats, by the way. They said time spent indoors increases risk of COVID at 6 feet or 60 feet. Wait, what? Yeah. MIT, smart cats. Smart cats, they are. Well, why am I wearing a mask? It's really about, we've talked about this from day one. It's about being in an area where there's a lot of people that you may not know, and there's a chance that you may get it, but it's about being in that area for a decent amount of time that's going to increase your risk. And outdoor was never one of those. Never once thought outdoors was it like, if you go outdoors, there's a chance you may get it. Very small chance. Very small chance. Very, very small. But I love how they say, well, mask really doesn't do anything but keep wearing it. That's the dumbest thing I've ever. Oh, my God. That is just so silly. Because what's it do? It's a placebo effect for a lot of people. Wearing the mask is a placebo effect. Plus, if you're ugly, it hides that. Oh, gee, that's not very nice. Right? You know what I mean, right? Like, guys, we got the beard. But for some people out there who don't have a beard, can't grow a beard, or, but that's what it's all about. Being in an area, especially a confined area with not good circulation, not good filtration, and you're maybe with people you don't know, the better. And this goes for the flu. It's like you can start going through all the things it goes for. Right? Like this goes for anything like the Ebola virus. You don't have to worry about that. This, HIV, you don't have to worry about that. Being in a room with somebody who has HIV. This, because it gets out and about, yeah. So even the 6 feet means very little. But we turn this thing into a battle. They said one is no safer from airborne pathogens at 60 feet than 6 feet. What about 61? Because Fauci would say we're going to do that. Smaller, poorly ventilated spaces where a lot of people spend a lot of time together, places people are going to be more at risk. Okay. Oftentimes, the space that you need to is large enough that the ventilation is good enough. The amount of time people spend together is such that those spaces can safely be operated even at full capacity. Scientists supports for reduction in capacity in those spaces, meaning, all right, normally we'd have 50 people in here. 25's good. And we'll distance ourselves a little bit. We're going to have breaks. We're going to be in and out. We got good filtration. Though that's what it's about in a lot of ways. But it's always been like that. I tell everybody, man, somebody next to me's got the flu, like the stomach flu or something. I'm not going in there. There you go. Problem solved. I'm probably not going to get it now. Like that's kind of it's just a thought, But the mask thing is the debate. He says, Bazant, the guidelines for enforcing indoor occupancy caps are flawed. He said 20 people gathered inside for 1 minute is probably fine, but not over the course of several hours. Well, it's been tough on restaurants. We know that. But that's what we're dealing with now. And I'm sure that the WHO's going to come out and they're going to emphasize distancing has been really misplaced from the very beginning. But the CDC and the WHO never really provided justification for all their distancing. No, they never did. They didn't provide justification for a lot of the stuff. A lot of the crap they were doing, especially outdoor, was ridiculous. It was based on no scientific anything other than, does this make you feel good? Does this make you feel good? It's crazy. And here we go. I just, the frustration level. And I know they'll change it later today. And then tomorrow they'll change it again. And then 2 days from now they'll change it. And 3 days from now. And then somebody will contradict themselves. And then somebody will say, well, you wash your hands. Don't go around licking other people's food and faces. You should be all right. And somebody come at you. Don't do that. Oh, no, do that? You don't know. So stupid. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from all of you. I do. I absolutely love hearing from you. Even when it comes to the anger. Somebody's mad at me. Why? Because I posted yesterday something about guns. You. Well, SCOTUS is going to hear a case about guns.
The mainstream media has been on a 30-year campaign to denigrate the Second Amendment and Second Amendment followers and make us look not only like second-rate citizens, but make us look dangerous.
So, and there's people out there who are like so upset by the fact that they're going to hear this. One person just tore into me call it, Republican BS, and you don't need to carry a gun everywhere you go. You need to have the courage to put it down and get rid of your guns. No, I don't. Here's the beauty of it. You're coming at it from it. Does it make me feel good? Right? Does it make me feel good? This is not about, it's exactly about rights. Don't tell me it's not about rights. 110% it's about rights. That Constitution, guaranteeing rights. That's what it's about. And yeah, you know what? I don't have to do anything. But if I want to, I should be able to. Right? He says to me, I said, look, this is not about carrying guns or not carrying guns. It's my right to. The guy writes back, because anybody could take it from you and use it on others. They could. Right? They could. There could be an accidental discharge. This happens so rarely. There's no such thing as a good guy with a gun. Again, living in a world of disillusionment because they've listened to the media forever and a day. And guns are all bad. No, people do bad things. Guns, like cars, like knives, like hammers, are just a tool. And the majority of people who use hammers, knives, cars, guns, don't do anything wrong with them. But to want to limit people's liberty and freedoms because you feel uncomfortable. He goes, you don't need to play my hero. I don't need to play your hero. I never said I was going to play your hero. I don't want to play anybody's hero. Is that what you think? I think a lot of people think, well, you just want to carry it around just in case something happens. No, I do. When I carry my gun, it's because I have the right to carry my gun. Not because I want something to happen or to protect anything. It's just my right. It's so lost because people are so blinded by the passion of some of these things that they're not understanding it. And the way that they look at it is, well, it's my right that I should be able to take that away from you because it'll make me feel better. It's not about making you feel better. Just like free speech isn't about the speech you like. It's about the speech you don't. And not, by the way, are you a big gun nut? No, I'm not a gun nut. By the way, people have guns, not nuts. Some of them are, but there's a lot of people out there who don't have guns who are nuts too. But no, I am a person who just likes my liberties. I like my freedoms. I'm willing to I'm willing to respect everybody else's liberties and freedoms. I totally am. But he's like, guns cause more problems than they've ever solved. We're in a nation that essentially had no choice but to take up arms. And we weren't a nation when we did. And we took up arms to fight the biggest sin our nation's ever committed. So, yeah, it'd be great if we could all run around with puppy dogs, unicorns, and rainbows. But that's not the reality of it. But it's also great that we have something that's protected by our Constitution. And because you feel uncomfortable about something, it's my liberty. I'll do everything to make sure that, hey, you know what? You never have to see me, right? I'm not going to. And no, I don't want to be your hero. I don't want to be anybody's hero. But it's just funny that some people are just, yes, let's take everything away from, because that solves all the problems. But then you find out, no, like everything else, it didn't solve any of the problems. It just made the people who have bad intention, just makes them more powerful. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program, Masterclass. You say it, Chad? Yes, I do. I love my Masterclass. I try to watch at least 2 or 3 a day. So if you know what Masterclass is an amazing program where you go on and can learn about everything. I was watching Werner Herzog yesterday. He's a legendary director talking about directing. I have been through some of this stuff, like Penn and Teller, by the way. It's incredible, the things that they teach. And what you do is you go on here and you learn from the best of the best. Aaron Franklin is one of the best pit masters, shows you how to barbecue. I've tried some stuff. It's delicious. There are about 20 lessons per class, about 10 minutes per lesson, and you learn from the best in the world. It's about 41 cents a day when you average it out across an annual membership over a year. You will not be disappointed. Everything and then some, from sports to entertainment to cooking to design to writing and everything in between is in there. Take advantage of it. Learn from the greatest of the greats, from Samuel L. Jackson to R.L. Stein to business, from Howard Schultz to politics, from the likes of Karl Rove and David Axelrod. 41 cents a day, save an extra 15%. What do? Masterclass.com/Benson. It's that simple. See it for yourself. You will not be disappointed. Masterclass.com/Benson. Masterclass.com/Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Deep states? No. Deep doo-doo? Yeah. The Chad Benson Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Let us take a peek and find out what's trending on the old interwebs. Chad, how dare you? Some of this stuff is hilarious. It is. You guys have no idea who Mr. Beast is, but he's released a burger called the New Dream Burger. Over 100,000 searches in the last couple hours. And Mr. Beast he's hilarious. He is a YouTuber. He's got about, I don't even know. He's only 22 years old. He's got combined 100 million subscribers, almost 14 billion views. And he does some of the craziest stuffs that are hilarious. Like he'll go and he's like, yeah, hey, we decided to buy a house for the guy that was our delivery pizza guy. And they buy it and furnish it. Or he gives away all. It's crazy. And so he's got a new burger out. Andrew Brown, North Carolina County. It's going to blur the faces before the Andrew Brown family sees the entirety of what took place in the shooting. More's coming out about that, and we're going to find out more and more about another shooting. Rose McGowan, who we'll talk about in a little bit, essentially told everybody on Fox, Rose McGowan, the Democrats and people who follow them at this point are part of a cult. Whoa. Head over to the magical world of Twitter. Tucker Carlson's getting criticized again after telling people not to wear masks, which is advised by the Centers for Disease Control, even though the people at MIT say it doesn't really do anything. So you go from there. It's ridiculous. It is. Oscars said they wouldn't let Anthony Hopkins give a speech via Zoom, but he still won. So there you go. Racism! Again, I had no idea that Anthony Hopkins was in even a movie. So there you go. Rose McGowan is also trending, as is Andrew Cuomo. The fact that he still has a gig is amazing. But he learned something, didn't he? From Trump. Never apologize and keep going forward. Today he called all of his accusers liars at a press conference, apparently. And it's amazing. It is amazing. But that is very much Trumpian, isn't it? Which is, not going to apologize. Just going to keep doing what I do. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, an Uber driver's nightmare. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Texas is going to pick up 2 seats in the House. Florida, North Carolina, Colorado, Oregon, Montana. They'll get 1 more seat. On the flip side there, though, for the first time in history, California loses a seat. New York, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, West Virginia, those important Rust Belt states are all going to drop a seat as well.
Yes. Census, 331 million Americans and some change. Democratic states are losing a seat. Doesn't seem like a lot. Right? So losing 1, Texas picking up 2. It's big. People are making the move. Our founding fathers wanted what? They wanted competition. They wanted you to be able to find the place that you felt, hey, you know what? I'm going to move here because the people that are running this state, my ideals match up in a lot of ways with this. And that's what's happening in many places. California is seeing a loss of people, and the people they are gaining aren't replacing the revenue and the jobs that are leaving with a lot of those people. California is still the 5th largest economy in the world. You think about that. Better than Texas. Texas is like 9. And this last year in California with Gavin Newsom and the way that it's just been, the mandate for the mask and stay inside and don't go outside. But by the way, I'm going here and the crazy wokeness. People are just at the point. Like my mom, I was born and bred. I lived a majority of my life in California, Southern California. My family's still there. My uncle and I, we have a business that's there. My uncle tells me every day, I would love to leave. If my wife hadn't built up her practice, we'd be gone in a heartbeat. Because we can do our gigs anywhere. For me, I'm blessed to live here in Arizona, but we're becoming purple. It's not a red state. Internally, a little bit red. But we got 2 senators who are now Democrats, but pretty independent. Texas, though, is seeing a lot of people move there from places like California, and it's pretty easy why.
Texans think that the Californians moving here is going to turn Texas blue. And if I can tell anybody one thing, there is a red wave coming here.
So many people are moving to Texas, the real estate market can barely keep up. Cheaper houses, and some say they want a safe space for their politics.
Politics are a big discussion in our group because you just cannot talk about moving without politics.
Yeah, you can't. You support the Second Amendment? Oh, man. And it's not just the red wave. Joe Rogan moved. Why? He's pretty libertarian. You're seeing a lot of people like that who are making the move to L.A. From L.A. saying, I don't really need to be here. I can be anywhere else. To go to places like Montana, other places, Florida, Tennessee. They want an opportunity to not feel like Big Brother's watching them and everything is, for all intents and purposes, governed by wokeness and craziness and taxes and all of this crazy shenanigans. Let's be real. Some of it is just insane. It really is. I mean, you sit there and you scratch your head. Where you're like, where did you come up with this? Like, I often wonder. I was talking to my uncle last night, and I said to him, do you think that some of these people are super wokey, aren't really as woke as you think, that they're just going, all right, let's see what we can get people to do. Let's see what craziness we can get people to do. Yeah, maybe, but probably not. That's scary.
This is part of a trend in which Republicans and Democrats live in places where they encounter few people of the opposite party.
I saw my owner losing her business. I saw no one cutting people breaks. At the end of the day, it's people need to put food on their table right now.
After COVID restrictions closed the salon where Courtney Prisco worked as a hairstylist, she and her husband quit LA. They could afford a much bigger house in Texas, and they were sick of businesses being shut down.
We never were afraid of COVID.
Yeah, and it's not that you don't respect COVID, but you can't let it rule you. I've always said you got to live with it, through it, around it, and above it. Otherwise, it can do a lot to you. And so many people have just turned and said, here, government, lead my life. That's crazy. Texas, pretty open. I'm out here in Arizona, pretty open. Florida, I don't think they ever close because I don't think they're like, look, COVID's really the least of our worries.
The political culture doesn't matter to everyone. Sometimes it's just the policy. In October, Caroline Yopich moved so her daughters could go to school in person and play elite soccer.
My kids love sports and they want to play, and they didn't really know what to do when they couldn't. Online learning, they did it, but sitting in front of a computer for that many hours a day just wasn't healthy for their bodies or mentally. I personally feel like it's a year of lost learning for kids that have had to stay on Zoom. It's interesting, California and Texas have two very different views on how to handle this challenge.
Yeah, they have. And it's funny because, like I say, most of my friends, my family, my mother, my little sister and her boyfriend, and they're moving. They just bought a house in Kentucky. They're having it built right now. They don't want to be here anymore. They don't want to be in California anymore. It's not even, they're not super political. They're just like, I can't stand it here. I can't stand all the other stuff that comes with California, the taxes, as great as the weather is, at some point in time, you're saying, I'm working 30 hours a day. It's not possible, Chad. Just humor me. I don't see the weather. I don't. People laugh at me because I live 65 miles outside of Phoenix, where I live. I stay up here 1 or 2 nights a week, but I live 65 miles away. Everybody's like, man, that's crazy, that drive. I said, dude, imagine this. Imagine driving 20 miles or 15 miles to your work, and it takes you an hour and 15 or 20 minutes to get there. That's California. I get off at night and I zoom home. Sometimes I'm home in 55 minutes, and in the morning, sometimes I'm here in 50 minutes. It's not just the politics, but the politics play a huge role, and the census is showing us that.
A lot of people consider themselves as a political refugee. California has taken it very far in a lockdown. The pandemic opened up people to wanting to move.
Joshua had moved to Texas in July, and his wife and kids followed.
I was getting depressed out there. Everything was shut down in California. I was looking for jobs.
And what was appealing about Texas?
More freedoms, less government in our pocket. I want to be left alone.
Man, I need to be left alone. Sounds like he's already getting into Texas life. Austin, by the way, if you're looking for a bit of California or New York, their slogan is keep Austin weird. It's kind of like their Berkeley, but it's more libertarian. Still part of Texas. I mean, you're San Antonio still, man. I tell you what, it's why I loved it. I loved living in Texas. I love living in Arizona. I love Arizona. But I will say, what went on last year with my son and through this year, and the insanity of school, no school, the fact that he's in school, but he's not. He's there a few hours a day, and they rotate kids in and out. And by the way, his teachers aren't there. There's 1 or 2 that are, but most of them are after-school helpers because the kids get zoomed in by their teachers while they're at their school. It's nuttiness. It really is. But we continue to go, okay, because so many people want to just let government have as much as possible. It's like I was watching Bill Maher over the weekend, and he was talking about, basically the younger generation. What a nightmare you guys are. Some 35% want to try communism, even though it's failed everywhere else. But yeah, let's give it a try. I mean, and he joked about, the reason you think it didn't work is because you guys weren't alive. You'd like to take away people's rights and hand it over to the government, allow them to own the property and run everything? Is that insane? It's amazing how people who want the security and want somebody else to be the leader are willing to do that. And some places embrace it so easily, and they're just like, this is great. And other places like Texas, Arizona, and a lot of other places are like, no, it's about you. It's not about the government. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from you. Another huge story today. Apple versus Facebook. Privacy. Huge, huge, huge. And I say Facebook because they're the ones who are going to suffer the most.
It is a game changer that many privacy advocates say is long overdue. The new policy means you'll have more control over how much data and information you share with companies like Facebook and Google from your iPhone.
Yeah. Well, you'll have actual say in what you're able to share. And the reason is because right now, you don't. You are that lost leader. You get to be on Facebook for free, and you think that's neat because you get to talk to your family or whatever, or Instagram or any of these things. You don't pay for any of these. Well, guess what? You know how you pay? Your data. And this right here is going to be huge. Cookies are going away. Not like chocolate chip or anything. No, but cookies. The little crumbs that you leave where the data behind that they can gobble up and then sell off to lead brokers and to everybody else. That's going away in 2022 with Google, with Mozilla Firefox, and several others. Facebook makes a majority of their money still is made on advertising. And now iPhone says, you know what? We're going to let you guys control your own data.
This new feature will automatically update on your phone with the iOS 14.5 update. There isn't anything you have to do, but you will start to see these prompts, things like allow Facebook to track your activity outside of its app and inside of other companies and other websites. So the new change here is that you have to opt in to having your privacy taken away as opposed to opt out of it.
Yeah, the way it should be. It doesn't mean you can't still go and search, but it just means now who gets to see those things. It's going to be based on you. And doesn't mean that sooner rather than later somebody's going to figure out a workaround some of these things. But it's nice. There's been too many breaches, and I think people are kind of over it. At first, we thought, oh, this is a cool thing. We get all this free stuff that we could use, not really realizing that you weren't the end user. You were just a product for an end user. Now you can take some control back. It's not 100% foolproof, but it's big. And if you think about it, iPhone, Apple, they make their money off of a lot of different things that have nothing to do with advertising, from iTunes to their Apple TV, to obviously all of the phones and everything they sell. Facebook doesn't. Facebook is, you are the product. And now a good portion of that product is going to be out of their grasp. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. And that's a big story because you probably have an iPhone. You next year on Google, you don't have to worry if you Google something and 3 seconds later you go to something else and there's 7,000 ads from 28 different companies. It's the beauty of this. More of our privacy, more of us keeping what is our world. I love it. Home title lock. Speaking of that, perfect example. Facebook had 500 million people's information breached. Didn't tell people for a while. Your name, address, all of these things are out there. It's so easy for a thief, a cyber criminal, if you will, to go out, search your title, which is public record, and to forge your signature, get a fake notary, and sign your house to them. Then what they're really doing is they don't care about your house. They care about the equity in your house, and they start siphoning it off, getting loan after loan after loan, 90, 120 days plus. You don't know about it. And when you do, it's too late. Home Title Lock's there to alert you to anything that happens to your title and protect you. Right now, go to HomeTitleLock.com, use code radio, put your address in, and see if you've been a victim. It's simple and it's easy. You get 30 days free protection. HomeTitleLock.com, code radio. HomeTitleLock.com, code radio. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, where we reach across the aisle and occasionally poke someone in the eye.
As part of the Falcon 9 rocket separates from the SpaceX Crew Dragon, some kind of object appears to fly right between them. The incident under scrutiny after officials reported a scare in space over fears of a possible collision with space junk. The U.S. Space Command later saying there was no threat. But what exactly was that object seen early in the flight? Sources telling us it appears to be ice from the liquid oxygen in that rocket, likely posing no danger.
It appears to be, but we don't know. I mean, if it appears to be, but the possibility is something else. You know, for all the joking about aliens, like, you do have to wonder, it's like, what if there are aliens? How do we know that they're all right? We don't. We could be their cows. It's possible. Or we could be their pets. This could be a simulation. It's very interesting. But there's a ton of junk up there. It's Sanford and Son in space. It's the best way to describe it. It's like a junkyard. I have one of those junkyards you get on by my house. Like I said, I'm out in the middle of nowhere. So you go down this long, like, 2-lane highway through cotton fields, depending on time of the year. And it's funny, when the cotton fields grow and then they plow them and they get everything out, there's still cotton blowing around for days. And then you go, and there's a truck stop. There's like 3 or 4 truck stops, you know, the big truck stops, Loves and all those kind of things, and Pilot. And then you turn left, and as you turn left, there is a junkyard / like pick apart with smashed cars that have been in wrecks, cars that have just been abandoned. And, you know, there's all kinds of, and that's what space looks like right now. Stuff flowing around, just flying around. It's like they shot it up there X amount of years ago, and it's just you don't get it. It's kind of like Everest. If you know anything about Mount Everest, if you make the trek, you're going to leave a lot of trash. And if you start to get sick and you start to die, there's no rescue. They leave you there. It's kind of what this is like. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Check out all of the Instagram, right? The Twitters, the Facebooks, and all the other stuff that's available to us. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Doctors Martin Bezant and John Bush studied how coronavirus spreads in an enclosed space, finding that the smallest aerosolized particles that we all exhale eventually circulate throughout the room, and that masks do little to block them. But Bezant and Bush do not recommend that we take off our masks and forget the 6-foot rule. Instead, that we limit the time that we spend in indoor spaces with others who might be infected.
What? What do you mean they don't work? Wait, you mean to tell me? I found another mask yesterday in my golf bag. It's a blue one. It's kind of cool. I'm like, I like this one. Protects me from nothing at all. It does nothing to protect me. Makes other people feel good. But Chad, it does protect. Well, I know these guys at MIT they're not very bright. I mean, we recognize that. It's one of those schools where it's like, just give us the dumbest. We've heard that from a lot. of people. So the mask and the new stuff today that's coming out from the CDC that's come out, it's like, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Here's the new mask mandates and oh my God, this is going to be great for everybody. Slow your roll. Take a deep breath. At the end of the day, what is it? It's pretty simple. Being in a room in somewhat confined spaces with not very good ventilation and filters, with a decent amount of people, is probably a recipe for catching this. Because that's what I try to explain to people who are like, well, I don't think this thing's very real. It's not about whether you think it's real. It's the speed at which it spreads that makes it dangerous. All things being equal, is it a little bit more dangerous than the flu? Yeah. Do I think it's too much more dangerous than the flu? Probably not, but we have therapies for the flu. We're not quite there with this yet. But the difference is, for every one person who would catch the flu, God knows how many people would catch this. And there's the issue. So being inside, and they also talked about 6 feet or 60 feet, doesn't really matter. So the mask doesn't really work that well. And 6 feet or 60 doesn't matter. It's about being in a confined space. Outdoors is not a confined space. All right? Outdoors is outdoors. The fact that we have to talk about, should we be wearing a mask outdoors? I'm going to take my dog for a walk. I'm going on a horse ride. I'm going to be the only one around with my horse. We're going to be in the middle of nowhere. Do I need to wear a mask?
With nearly 96 million Americans fully vaccinated and more people spending time outside because the weather is nicer, we are expecting new guidance from the CDC as far as masking outdoors. And that could look different for people who are fully vaccinated. From Rhode Island to Nashville, officials have already started to lift outdoor mask rules. One study showing less than 10% of COVID infections occurred outside.
Yeah, less than 10%. Less than 10. You mean when they said we should cancel trick or treat? Yeah, that was stupid. It's dumb. What do we need? Just be smart. Know your risk. Allow people to have the liberties to make those choices as business owners, as individuals. But like everything, right? Like if there's a bad flu going around, you know, being inside of a place potentially where people are sick, probably not great. Well, they always tell you, like, if you're like you're injured, but you're not quite sure how bad it is, but you don't know if you need to go to the doctor's or the hospital, and it's flu season, what do they tell you? Maybe you want to try to get in, not to the urgent care because there's so many people that are sick. Well, this is the worry of spread. You start to go, okay, that's just common sense. I said it earlier, I'll say it again. If I know somebody has got the really bad, like, stomach flu or something like that, I just hate that, I will give them a wide berth. Let's give you the widest berth there. It's just common sense. But the thought of some of the stuff that they tried, you know, it's like my son's like, he comes out, he's like, Dad, it's so great because, you know, you can go outside and play. And, you know, like when I take my dog Oreo for a walk, they make you have to wear a mask. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's insanity. That's what that is. So what's it mean? It means your state will do what your state does. The feds they'll put out some sort of recommendations from the CDC and everybody else, and then they'll contradict themselves, usually within 24 hours, give or take, and then we move on with our lives. You know what's best for you. What about a vaccine? I got vaccinated yesterday. I did. So I had my first shot the 22nd of last month, and then I got a shot yesterday. Went in, it was simple. I got a shot. What'd you get? I got Moderna. Does he get really sick? I heard everybody gets really sick. No. That's what the guy told me. He was giving me a shot. He says, you're probably going to feel really bad for 24 to 48 hours. And I said, no, I'm not. But you probably will. I said, but I won't. But you're probably going to. But I'm not. Your arm's going to be really sore, and you're not going to want to do anything, and you're probably going to have a fever. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not going to happen. Didn't happen. Worked out last night. Some more golf balls. Had some dinner. Hung out with the family. Sat in the jacuzzi. Went to bed. Woke up. Got here early again. You want to talk about what scares people? There's a thing. Yesterday we were talking about the fact that a lot of people aren't getting their second vaccination. Well, you're telling everybody out there. You're putting it in their mind. Right? You're planting in their mind. You're going to get really sick for 24 to 48 hours. And everybody I talk to, it's so funny. It's like the people who are really into wearing masks, the people who are, you know what I mean? They're overly into it. That would have done anything to get a vaccine before anybody else, that are so overly cautious, which is fine. I got zero problems with that. Those people are the people who anybody they know who's gotten this has gotten it really bad. And those are also the people that when they get the shot, they're telling you this, you're going to get really sick. And then they get really sick. Do you know some people that have gotten it, Chad? I had it. You just people got it bad? Well, bad. They didn't die from it. It wasn't great. But I also know a lot of people are like, I didn't even know I had it. But the planning in the mind, it's like, so then I had to go sit down again for 15 minutes, which also pissed me off. I'm like, wait, I got to go sit down again? Well, you could have a reaction. What do you think? I had a reaction a month ago? Unless it's something new. No. So I go sit down, and the lady's like, okay, so did they tell you you're probably going to feel bad? I'm like, I'm not. But most people do. I said, well, I'm not most people. It's so bizarre. It's like the planting in the mind of this. Get your I don't care if you get a vaccine or don't get a vaccine. It means very little to me. You do you, I'll do me. But it is funny, though, the way that this thing has become so political, and we're talking about masks still and the vaccines. Still 25% of people are never going to get vaccines. And I just want to know, when are we going to say, all right, you're not getting a vaccine, and we're not going to live our life based on that? Lots of people out there.
My sense is there's a lot of people out there who are okay to get the vaccine, but it's still hard to get it for them. I mean, they still feel like they have to jump through the hoops, or they have to sign up in a way that's not easy.
Some of that's true. Obviously, yesterday. So I had already gone through this program. So there's a couple of my coworkers that have gone through it at other places. And yet, like, we had federal sites, we had state sites, and we had county sites, and we just had, the walk-ins at like Walgreens and stuff. So I signed up really easy. But then when I went in, I had to fill out all this paperwork. All right, fine. I went in yesterday. They made me do everything again. I'm like, that's the thing that turns people off. We love convenience in this country. I mean, we love convenience. You want food delivered to you? You got it. You want a bank? You got it. You name it. Want to rent a hotel room? Convenient. We want convenience. And if you make things too complicated, or I said it yesterday, I joked, my other show that I do, my on-air partner, he is really hypochondriac, germaphobe, and he's very, like, as I was leaving, because it was in the middle of our other show, and he said to me, he goes, dude, thanks for doing this for me, because I know you're pretty much just doing this for me. I'm like, don't worry about it. And it was funny, because I'm driving down there. I'm like, it's the middle of the day. I had to take time off. I'm fortunate enough to be able to do this. This is not convenient for people. It isn't. And here's something else. Now, Producer Phil, I want you to stick with me here. Most people, what kind of hours do the majority of Americans work?
9 to 5.
9 to 5. So you would think, outside of a few areas inside states, that you would say, hey, guys, I got a great idea. Most people work from 9 to 5. Why don't we work from 9 till 9? Split shifts, because people are getting off work later. The opportunity to not impose on them anymore would probably be helpful. What do you think? Nope, let's just do 9 to 5. They can't make it, that's on them. Okay. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. And why don't people want to do that? Because it's inconvenient for them. We don't like making other people inconvenient as long as we're okay being convenience. 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-2423. It's the text line. Text me. Love hearing from you. Love, hate, all of those things. We have discussions. I like discussions. You can't solve or get to places of any kind of compromise yelling at each other. But if you do yell and you're pissed, I'm good. I'm good with that. I could take the hits. I'll tell you that right now. Car Shield. A lot of people out there can't take the hit right now, especially when it comes to money. Your car, for a lot of people, it's your life. Gets you to and fro in so many ways. And the thought of something going wrong with that. Oh, and let's be real. When does something go wrong with your car normally? Normally when you think, oh, good, I got some breathing room, a little bit ahead, and that's when that check engine light comes on. Car Shield's here to say, don't worry about it. We got your back. 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car's in the shop. You choose the shop. They get them paid directly. You pay a small deductible. Whether your car's got 5,000 to 150,000 miles on it, whether it's newer and you're worried about the electronics, or it's older and you're worried about things like the AC and the transmission, they've got a plan that's right for you. Find out about that plan. Go to carshield.com, carshield.com. Use code Benson to save 10%. It's America's #1 auto protection company, and they're ready to help you. Carshield.com, carshield.com. Promo code Benson. Saves you 10% right there. Chad Benson Show.
Running with scissors sounds great compared to this.
Say woo! Uber. So, the Uber driver here. Okay, I want you guys to understand this. I'm going to give you guys a understanding of said Uber driver. Florida woman. That's all you need to know. Normally it's Florida man. Uber driver Michael Hasley Jr. driving a woman who's asleep when she wakes up. So she's asleep and she wakes up, and then you do what you do after you wake up. You attack your Uber driver.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't
Look
breathe.
for the cops.
I can't breathe.
Let go of
I
him.
can't breathe.
Never.
I can't
Let
breathe.
go of him. Never. Never, sir. Johnny. Never die. He's not doing it.
Can't
You can't
breathe. I'm just your Uber driver. I'm just your Uber driver.
Stop. Let go of him.
Come on, if you're not laughing at that, you're like,
I can't breathe. I'm just your Uber driver.
Chad, it's not very funny. It is kind of like, it's the dumbest thing in the world. This isn't somebody who just, she's not putting a rear naked chokehold on this guy. By the way, she's 55. There's a 33-year age gap. Bro, at some point in time, I can't breathe. I can't.
You're gonna go to jail. I don't care. Why are you following this man? He's done nothing. My daughter. No.
I just don't want to put my hands on her.
No.
Please stop.
No.
Please stop. I have done nothing. I have done nothing to deserve this. You were asleep the entire car ride, woke up and started screaming and punching me.
I'm going to say this after this next incident. At some point in time, bro, you got to man up. I don't want to touch her. Well, I can understand probably not wanting to touch her, but then she decides she's a vampire.
Dude, no, no, please
Stop biting him.
Stop.
Stop biting him.
Stop. Oh, stop.
You got the cop? Are they got the cops on the way?
I
can't get them out. I know.
Ma'am, stop biting him.
Ma'am, stop biting him. At some point, you have to man up, dude. I'm sorry. I don't want to hit a woman. Okay, you've done everything you possibly can. She's choking you. Now she's bit you. At this point, with 20 other people around you, I think it's safe to say you could probably do something to escape the situation. Not saying you punch her, right? But maybe you grab her hands, you grab her hair and pull her off your neck. Just saying. My goodness. Uber is just awesome. It's taxi cab confessions time 50. You never saw that in that show. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I think it's a creative idea. You know, I hadn't thought that we would need to, but there are some people for whom it could be the inducement. And so I'm totally fine with it.
Yes, vaccines, incentives to get vaccines. Should we do it?
There's clearly a huge social benefit of getting vaccinated. It's good for you. It's good for others. If there's a little payment involved in it, I think it's probably fine.
Oh, hold on a second. I got my second shot yesterday. You're going to pay people now? Well, I didn't know about that. You could have said something to me. But some people aren't getting vaccinated. Why aren't you getting vaccinated? For a lot of people out there, it's white evangelicals. What? Yeah. Political leaning to the right. They don't think this thing is going to do them any harm. That's totally, look, again, totally fine with what you do. Totally fine with what you do. It's very interesting, though, the way that this thing has broken itself down. And you know, we were talking earlier about the census and how, you know, Texas is picking up seats and New York and California are losing seats and people are going to their tribes and they're going there. Well, this is another tribe, if you will, of people that are very interested in skipping the vaccine because of political reasons in a lot of ways. Some of it's for other reasons, but you got a lot of televangelists out there doing all kinds of stuff.
One of the groups of Americans who are most skeptical about getting the coronavirus vaccine, that is white evangelicals. And we're talking about a lot of people here, about 41 million, according to the Pew Research Center. And 45% of them say they definitely / probably won't get the shot. Experts say what some evangelical pastors preached from the pulpit for months and months likely had a profound effect in shaping their opinions.
Yeah, of course. And the politics and where they're going to get their politics. We talked about it earlier. People say, are you a Christian? By the way, a Christian or whatever, it's in the Bible twice. Maybe 3 times. Like, I believe in God. I believe in Christ. I'm a disciple, follower, whatever it is. But it's a lot of times church people are, and I don't want, the politics that has gotten into church now is nuts. But it's the same way with like politics in the union world, politics in everything. It's crazy. And some people are out there saying stuff that you sit there and go, oh, my goodness. What are you doing?
Do not put the vaccine. Believe in the blood of Jesus. Believe in divine immunity. If we die for Christ.
I came today to declare victory over the virus.
COVID-19!
COVID-19!
I blow the wind of God.
The wind of God.
On you. You are destroyed forever, and you will never be back. We're going through this thing with a Holy Spirit immunity from the works of the devil.
I'm just like, okay. It's that old joke. I don't know if you guys have ever heard it. First of all, God, if you believe in God or you don't, you're agnostic, you're atheist, whatever. But think about this. If you're a person who follows God, follows Jesus, you're thinking to yourself, did they make any mistakes? Right? People here become scientists. They have a gift of that. From that, they're able to create amazing vaccines and treatments to help people. So why not? Now, governments can get control and do certain things, but, it's very real. It's a very fair thing. And it's that old joke, right? There's a flood coming. Guys pull up in a truck, say, ma'am, there's a flood coming. It's going to get really bad. The rain's going to be awful, and the dams are getting ready to break. And you hop in the truck. We get you out of here. She says, nope, I prayed. God's going to save me. I said, okay. Now it's all the way up into her home, and she's standing on the porch, and she's just like, I don't know what to do. I'm praying, and here comes some guys in a boat. And say, come on, ma'am, get in here. The flood's coming even more. The rain's getting heavier. Get in a boat. She says, no. God's going to save me. She's on the roof now. Flood's all the way up there. Helicopter shows up. Ma'am, get in the helicopter. You don't have much time. Got to get in the helicopter. She says, nope, I prayed. God's going to save me. She ends up drowning and dying. She goes to heaven. She looks at God. She says, I prayed that you would save me. He goes, I sent you a truck, I sent you a boat, and I sent you a helicopter. Oh. See, sometimes it comes in different ways, right? And it's about being a good steward to your neighbor, your friends, taking care of yourself. Common sense. Don't let the government walk all over you, but it's ridiculous. And you've got all these charlatans out there, and none's more charlatan-ass than this guy, Jim Baker, who, by the way, this one's extra special.
Another baseless claim is that the vaccine is actually a ruse for implanting microchips in Americans. Recently, televangelist Jim Baker used his platform to host Walking Dead conspiracy theories when one of his guests told the audience that COVID-19 nasal tests are meant to steal DNA samples to create biological weapons that turn people into flesh-eating zombies.
Zombies that are on the earth are a disease like any other disease that affects people, and they become like zombies.
That's what it is. Who buys this crap? Just curious. People do. I mean, my God, that family spent how much money? I mean, made how much money off selling some sort of bleach as some sort of cure for it, and it is nuts. It's not over. The vaccine. Oh. And look, I'm not a big fan of the government. It has its part. It has its place in society. We need rules, right? We need certain things. Taxes need to be collected. We need to make sure we have roads and all of those kind of stuff. But the overreach of the government at times is ridiculous. And the fact that people want to use government to take away other people's liberties is nuts. But sometimes people take it too far, whether it's you're going to be a zombie because you got the shot.
On social media, one conspiracy theory that some evangelicals seize on is that the vaccine is what they call the mark of the beast. It's a reference to the book of Revelations, where a terrible beast blasphemes God and deceives the inhabitants of the earth. One expert told CNN that the anti-COVID vaccine sentiment among evangelicals is fed by a mixture of distrust in government, ignorance about how vaccines work, misinformation, and political identity.
Yeah. And it's sad. It's sad because you sit there and you're like, wow, this is why people run from a lot of this insanity. But a lot of people run at it. And I just never got it. You can have faith. You can believe. Utmost importance. Or don't. But when you're sitting here going, I think if you get the shot, you're going to turn into a flesh-eating zombie. I'm like, really? You think? Yeah. So you're going to eliminate 150 million people just in the United States alone and turn them into flesh-eating zombies who will then turn on the other people and attack them so you can be the ruler of nothing? Well, that sounds like fun. It's insane. It really is. People buy this stuff, and that's sad. The politics get involved, and then they start looking towards their pastors or their leaders at churches as something other than what they are. And that's not good. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It is a case that some people are calling one of the biggest cases that the Supreme Court has heard. And it has to do with a cheerleader, a 14-year-old cheerleader who was on the cheer team. She was relegated to the JV squad after she did something on Snapchat. Ooh. Yeah. And now it is going to the Supreme Court, and they're going to hear it. Free speech. Right? Free speech. Is it free anymore? Well, we already know about the woke culture and the wackiness, and it's nothing to do with whether or not you have a right to say these things. It's can people cancel you, if you will, or punish you for a disbelief. This is about the speech side of it and getting punished for it. And it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out.
Any speech that's controversial or could be perceived as offensive, when it happens in school, can be punished if it would cause a disruption. But that is exactly the kind of speech that we protect outside of school.
And she wasn't in school. This didn't happen during school. This happened out of school before school gotten back in session. And the question, again, goes back to free speech. What is free speech? Dan Abrams.
It could be an enormous case if the Supreme Court issues a sweeping ruling about the free speech rights of students when they're off of school grounds. On the other hand, though, the court could decide this very, very narrowly, as the Supreme Court often does, and says, you know what, we're not going to get into the big picture issues. We're just going to make a very specific ruling on the facts here.
And that happens a lot with, I think people look to the Supreme Court and think, okay, give us a ruling for everything. And instead of going, macro, they go micro. Say, no, we're only going to give you a ruling for this. We're not going to give you a ruling for everything. We're going to give you a singular ruling for this particular case that applies to this particular young lady, young man, business, whatever it is. We're going to give you a ruling strictly for that. But it is very interesting. She wasn't in school. School was out on break. She said something about blank this, blank that. I mean, I could get into the, blank school, blank softball, blank cheer, blank everything. Right? She sent it to 250 of her friends. And she got in trouble for that. And they decided, let's see what we can do. Let's do it.
I'd be surprised if the court issues a ruling that broad that would prevent school districts from taking any action against cyberbullying, harassment, threats of violence, etc.
But she just didn't cyberbully anybody. She just let her feelings known. What should that be about? Off campus. That's a very interesting question. And I want to see how they play this, because it is big, especially when it comes to things like what we see now in places that used to be bastions of free speech and aren't anymore. And what does your kid say to one of his friends in a text message or a Snapchat or in a WhatsApp or whatever that gets misconstrued or they get in trouble for? That has nothing to do with them being in school. Again, cyberbullying is a totally different thing. But saying F this or screw this or blank this, that to me, it's free speech. And if you're not on campus and you're not part of that, I think that's where you look and go, that's your right to think that and to say that. You weren't on campus. Cyberbullying, again, totally different. You're threatening people. You're trying to destroy people. You're doing totally different thing. This, though, is going to be very interesting. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of those 8-1, 7-2 rulings. Not just all the conservatives on one side and all the Democrats on another side. It's just weird that we have to talk about that when it comes to ruling in court. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Raycon best earbuds around. Love my Raycons. Summertime's getting closer. You're going to be outside more and more, right? You're doing that. You're hanging out. You're trying to get fit. All of those things. Why not rock out with the best earbuds? 6 hours of talk time. Awesome colors. I mean, amazing colors. A incredible fit that is second to none. Customizable gel tips. I mean, we're talking about the best of the best. It is amazing. Discreet Bluetooth pairing is like that. Compact charging case. Battery life, and then some. Like, people are like, well, do you, like 6 hours talk time. Well, what kind of battery life? Because 24-hour battery life? Yeah. It's amazing. And a price, kids, a price that you're going to love. Starts well under $100, but they got amazing things. 45-day happiness guarantee. And we need to give it a try. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad. Save an extra 15%. If you're saying, I'm going to get out, I'm going to get moving, I'm going to get walking, I'm going to get working out, this is what it's all about. Having earbuds, take your music, your sound, take your Chad Benson Show and podcast everywhere. Not the price of premium earbuds, but premium earbuds. Raycons. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Save an extra 15%. Chad Benson Show.
I can't take it anymore!
Well, get over it. It's time to forge a new path with your very own political cartographer, Chad.
In the world we live in, you're going to get criticized, you're going to get made fun of, you're going to do some stuff that's going to piss people off. LeBron James the other day, and rightly so. I think what he did was ridiculous, and I think a lot of other people out there would have been, posting a picture of the officer who shot Ma'Khia Bryant as she was trying to stab another human being. That you're next, hashtag you're next with an hour little sand thing that you spin over there, hourglass sand thing. That was ridiculous. People making fun of him for it.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. No, can you put the knife down, please, sir? Sir, no, sir, don't stab it. No, stop stabbing. Stop. Oh, hold on. It's LeBron. LeBron, listen, I'm out here at this disturbance call, and there's a guy trying to stab another guy with a knife. What do you think I should do? Why does that matter? Okay, well, they're both black. One guy's trying to stab another guy with a knife. Deadly force is completely justified.
It's not very nice.
I see. So you don't care if a black person kills another black person, but you do care if a white cop kills a black person, even if he's doing it to save the life of another black person? I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but then again, you are really good at basketball, so I guess I'll take your word for it. All right. Yep. Okay. All right. Thanks, LeBron. Michael Jordan's the GOAT. What? Nothing. I gotta go. Sorry.
It's not very nice. No, look, what he did was wrong, and that's funny. You're poking fun at it, and you deserve it, because I thought it was ridiculous. But it's also good to be the GOAT, because I still think he's the GOAT. He and Jordan, two separate kind of players, but I love Bron in his game. Well, his rookie card, 2003-04 Upper Deck Exquisite Collection RPA Rookie Patch Autograph Parallel LeBron James card, numbered out of 23, sold privately yesterday, $5.2 million. The Beckett Grading Service graded 9 for the card with a perfect 10 signature. It is the most expensive basketball card, knocking off Luka Doncic. So his card was sold for $4.6 million. That was his rookie card. Ties the most expensive card sale of all time, which is the 52 Topps Mantle card. So it's good and bad at times. Have a good day. Night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.